In this video, I will show you best openings that you can play with e4. Here black can respond with e5, d5, c5, knight f6, g6. We are going to cover all of that. So first, let's look at e5. Then you can go for knight f3 and after knight c6, you can go for bishop c4. This is the Italian opening and this is quite easy to play and is suitable at all levels. But if you want an easy opening, then you can go for the king's gambit. This is quite aggressive and suitable under 2000 rating. So after e takes f4, you gotta cover this check. Then you go for knight f3 and after they play anything say knight c6, you can just move this pawn. d5 striking in the center, then you can take and after he takes, you can just develop the knight and when he moves the queen back, you can just take this pawn, move this bishop here and castle. Now what if here he goes for c5, the Sicilian defense. Then here, you are going to play c3. This is the Elephant Sicilian and this is very easy to play against the Sicilian defense and it also scores good for white which is around 52%. But what if here he goes for e6, the French defense. Against that, you go for d4, d5. Now you can go for knight c3 but then bishop b4 will complicate things. Instead you go for knight to d2. This is the Taras variation and this is very easy to play. So for example, if c5, which is played quite often, then you can go for e takes d5 and after e takes, you go knight gf3. Now you are 2 moves away from castling. Let's say he goes knight c6, then you can just pin his knight. Let's say he goes bishop d7, then you castle here. And after he goes something like this, you can just give him a check. And after he goes here, you can just take. And now he cannot take. So if he tries to castle here, now you can just go here. And as you can see, this is how you can very easily play against the French. Now let me show you what you can do against c6, the Caro-Kann defense. Then here you go for d4, d5. At higher levels, you will generally see knight c3, which will lead to the Tartar variation knight f6 or the classical bishop g5. But here, you can go for the fantasy. This is a tricky one, and if your opponent is not careful, you can win in a few moves. So d takes e4, then you take. Now your king is opened up, so you gotta cover it with knight f3. Now here, e5 is the good move here, threatening to play queen h4, then knight f3 covers the check, e takes d4, then you just develop the bishop. And here, bishop g4 is played quite a lot, but there's a tactic here with bishop takes f7 check, king takes, then you check with the knight. And then, after he moves the king, you can just grab the knight, castle on the king's side, and this is quite better for white here. But what if here he plays d5, the Scandinavian defense? Then you can take, and after he takes, you just develop the knight, queen goes back. You can also go for queen a5. Then you just play d4, knight f6, knight f3, and after something like e6, you can just move your bishop here. And after he goes here, you can just develop this bishop. He's going to castle on the king's side. So you can also castle, but I recommend you can move this queen here and castle on the queen's side to launch a quick attack here. Now let me show you one final one, which is d6. You can also go g6. Both of them will lead to the same thing. Then you go for d4, knight f6, then knight c3, and after g6 to finish out with this bishop, you can just develop your bishop. He goes here, then queen d2, a common idea. He castle here, then you just long castle here. And after he develops his knight, for example, now you can simply defend this pawn with f3. The idea behind this move is that you are supporting this pawn and ready to push these pawns. So after e5, don't take, otherwise it will open up his knight. Instead you play d5, hitting the knight. So knight moves back, and then you push this pawn. And as you can see, we are ready to push the h pawn. After something like c6, trying to exchange the pawns. Well, he's so slow because you can just take, because after he takes, you can just take this pawn and now you're up a pawn. Now what if here he plays something like knight f6? Well, then you can push. Then after he goes here, you can just defend the pawn and also control the center. d6, trying to attack that pawn, then just develop. And after he takes, you can take and continue this game. Now what if he goes b6? Then you can push this pawn. And after he goes here, again you just defend this pawn and develop the knight and castle. So you can learn all of these openings by clicking on this playlist. And if you want to learn some chess traps, then you can check out this right playlist. And if you don't want to miss the upcoming videos, then don't forget to subscribe.